Good morning. Today we're going to build these two traditional sawhorses out of remnants from our job site. If you want to see how we did it, stay tuned, because that's what we're going to do today. Good morning. Welcome to another Memphis Monday 398, our 34th week of year 8. It's cool. Got a cup of coffee, nice and early in the morning, and it's great to be here. You know, on our fence building adventures, we had some, I realized I still need more sawhorses. And we got a bunch of extra 2x4s, a lot of remnants left over. I said, boy, I can't make sawhorses this week because we just made sawhorses a couple of weeks ago. But I need the sawhorses, so we're going to do that. But we're going to break it up a little bit, and we're going to make the kind of sawhorses, you know, when you're at your granddaddy's farm when you're a kid, back in the wood shop. There'll be some old-timey looking how they used to make sawhorses before we got fancy. We're going to make some of those, and you're going to recognize them when I show you what I'm talking about. But we're not going to get anything done unless we have a drink of coffee and then get to work. Now, if you know anything about this subject, stop typing in the comments, because I know there is no such thing as a traditional sawhorse. Sawhorses are individually made, usually expendable, made on the job site with whatever material is available. But when I say conventional and traditional, I'm talking about the ones that I remember as a kid. And this wasn't one of them. This is a design we came up with the 14-degree angle on the top up here with these splayed angled legs, with our gusseting here. This is about the closest to a traditional design that we've come up with so far. The big innovation here is that this back of the horse here was the angles for the legs were cut into the back so that the legs could just be nailed directly to the back. Very strong. But the problem with the design is you have to be able to, you really can't do it on the job site because you're going to have to rip, you're going to have to rip a 4x4 with these angles, and that can be tricky. Now, these are the ones we made a couple of weeks ago, and they combine some of the features we just looked at on that other one, because this here's the I-beam. It's an I-beam construction, because we put the angle of the legs in the bottom of the beam here, and then angled the leg up to go under the top back here. Ridiculously strong, unnecessarily strong, and too heavy. Now, when I think of a traditional sawhorse, this is what I think of. The angle of the legs is sawn in the top of the leg. The back of the horse is put up on the edge, and then the gusseting is then put between the legs. And another feature of these traditional ones is, unlike the ones we looked at outside, we don't put an angle on this leg down, these legs down here. We keep them at 90 degrees so that they'll dig into the ground. Let's look at this. This design here on paper. Here's how it looks end on. The back, and I drew this to scale. The back goes like that. The legs go just like that. And then the gusseting, I've already cut the gussets out. They go in there like that. Now on a job site, this is probably how you're going to see it. The back of the horse will be proud of the top of the legs, and however this angle works out, that's how much will be covered here. But since we're in a wood shop and we can be more precise, our angle is going to exactly cover that distance, so we'll have more surface area. So this is the angle we're going to be cutting in the 2x4, and we want the distance of that cut. We want that cut to be exactly 3.5 inches. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Well, I got a little bit ahead of myself there. I'm not going to cut the angles right now. We still got to cut out the legs. Got to cut out 8 legs. Now these things aren't going to be perfect because this is all remnant wood here, and it's twisted and bowed, and you can see this one's got this big curve in it. This one is bowed this way, but we'll try to get best pieces we can. Now what we're going to do is cut off 36-inch sections with just 90-degree cuts until we get 8 legs. Let's give that a try. Well, here's the system I'm come up with to cut these angles. You could do it a lot of different ways. You could do it with a bandsaw. You could just do it with a skill saw to cut that angle, or you could do it on the table saw with a tapering jig. But I chose to do it this way. I got a 4x6 here. Attached at just the right distance here, and I've attached my leg with a single screw to hold it secure, and then I can just bring my saw right on through. Let's look at the actual cut here. I got you zoomed in here. I'm going to turn the laser on in a minute, and so you won't be able to hear what I'm telling you, but this line, this cut right here, this is the cut that I want at 17 degrees, and I want it to be 3 3.5 inches long. So I'll turn the laser on, and you'll see that laser line cuts right along that, and it ends right here at 3.5 inches. Okay, the distance is good. So this is the pocket hole screw that I have through here to hold it. That way, when I do this rather shaky cut here, my hands are completely away from the work. Now, this was my practice piece, of course, but then this is going to go right here. I'll knock these little nubs off later, but I got full contact with the leg and the back. Okay, I think we're good. Let's cut this leg and see if it works. The reason I went with the jig is I want all the legs to be exactly the same. And by doing the jig, I can set it up once, and then all the legs will be cut in exactly the same way. I went ahead and put one of them together. You can see how they go together. 4 screws, pre-drill. These angles are just, automatic because of the right length. Gusset is a piece of 3/4 inch plywood. Now you could have a gusset on both sides, but you don't really need it. I think the design is just strangely satisfying. It's 100% utilitarian. There's no frills. There's no pretense. It's just an honest piece of work equipment. Let's put one together. Now, this isn't an issue when you have it out on the ground, the grass or dirt, sand, whatever. But if you're on a hard concrete floor that's maybe uneven or whatever, you might have a problem with it rocking. This one doesn't rock because I already fixed the rock. And after we assemble the other one, I'll show you how to take any rock out of it that it might have. Now, I make a big deal about the rock because you may think you did something wrong after you build it and the thing has a rock in it. Let me show you on our prototype. I think this probably has it. Yeah, there you go. So we'll fix this one. If the new one we're building doesn't have this in there, we'll fix this and I'll show you how to fix it. I'm holding the legs on with deck screws. doing a little pre-drilling. Okay, now we're making a little sausage. Use one of these small screws to start with to get the thing aligned or to get it started. Gotta figure out what the convention is here for the lining this up. I think I'm gonna line it up like that. Okay, now once I got one screw in there, bring my square around. This is important. You want to get this directly under the horse. Now, if I was going to splay the legs, of course, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. Okay, I overshot my Now here I use the 2.5 inch screws. Okay, now I flip it over. Don't put these screws in yet. Now on the small side of the taper, these long screws would go all the way through. So I say putting these long ones in until both sides of the legs are attached. So now I can go ahead and put the long screws in the top because I have the other leg attached on the other side. I can take out the short screw, the assembly screw, all right, let me get the other leg on and we'll put the gussets on. Okay, these gussets are I made them a little fat. So now all I can do is just run through my saw, take that edge off, and they'll fit exactly. Here's the setup. You notice I got the wide edge of this triangle up there at the top. And then this should be 14 degrees, and then we'll just trim it off right to the line. I think, strictly speaking, you'd probably use a solid board across here, but plywood, exterior grade plywood is really the best. I just butt it up against the back. maybe get me a starter hole here. Cheap screws. After you saw me taking these screws and kind of just throwing them on the bench, because some of these deck screws you get, once you use them, they get gnarled out inside like that one, and they'll fail on you. Look at that one. I just used that screw once. Well, the world isn't perfect, is it? I mean, this screw failed so bad that I'm actually going to take it out with a pair of vice grips. Well, I was kind of bad-mouthing screws, but I think I had a bad bit. All those fence repairs, I think I wore that bit out. Threw it away. Yeah, I just had a bad bit. See, that's what you get for bad-mouthing things. Okay, I'll put this gusset on and we'll turn this thing over and see if it rocks. There we go. Well, wouldn't you know it, didn't rock. Okay, I can see that if I take about 1/4 of an inch off this leg, this thing's gonna sit flat. So let's do that. And that's all there is to it. Well, there's our traditional carpenter's sawhorses. Legs are at 14 degrees. One gusset, 35 inches tall, and made with remnants off the job site. Very unpretentious, honest design. I like it. Well, that'll do it for Memphis Monday 398, week 34 of our 8th year. Made some traditional sawhorses. We now have basically four different varieties of sawhorses. We made them 2 or 3 episodes of sawhorses, and now we have several different kinds, ways there to build them. But I think we had some takeaways. I show you how to do that that angle using the jig on the table saw. You can do it other ways. You can use a hand saw. You can use a band saw. Lots of ways you can do it. You can use a tapering jig on the table saw. I think on a job site you'd probably just use a skill saw. Okay, so that's all I have. Like, favorite, share, and all the stuff you do on the internet. But most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.